clapper. Oh, this is great. I'm sitting on wires. Sorry, my setup has just become utter chaos lately for no particular reason. Okay. Howdy, folks. So today, first of all, you may notice that I am not in my white jacket because my white jacket is in the lab. I hope, because it is not at home. Nor is the bag of goodies that I brought to campus to film. My hope is that I'm just absent-minded professoring. But I wanted to get some more filming done this weekend because y'all are catching up. So, yeah. This time, we are going to talk about psychosocial development. Now, this should kind of be, hopefully, a nice contrast to Freudian psychosexual development, because Freud's all about sex. While Adler and other more modern folks, all about social. So let's talk about social. Baby. Yeah, I did that. Enjoy. Alright, so, we're going to talk about psychosocial development. The big player here is Erik Erikson, whose name still entertains me to this day. He believed that many conflicts are conscious and arise at various stages of life. That it's not that they're all like bubbling beneath the surface for all the times, but instead are already present, that you can see them. And that these are at all stages of life, not just like adult stages. Now, there's a lot more detail about Erikson in the book, so I encourage you to check that out there, because as you've hopefully figured out, the videos are abridged as possible to give you kind of the like key points, but also to recognize that there's still more to cover here. Every slide with rare exception, could be its own lecture. Could be its own lecture and probably its own class, for the most part. I mean, there are some that are like, I bet we could find a way to make it a class. Anyway, let's just keep plowing through, because we're so close to being done. Alright, so here are some stages. I'm actually going to talk about the stages and not just hand wave the way I did with Freud. Because these are credible. We have empirically kind of confirmed them. I have provided a YouTube video in that section if you want to learn about the various like oral, anal, phallic stages. You are welcome to. I just think my lecture time would be better spent on psychosocial development. Okay. So stage 1 is basic trust versus mistrust. And I've blocked the keynote here. Okay. So this is between years like birth and 2. It corresponds with the oral stage, if that's something you're into. And it's all about learning what needs will be met, ignored, or overindulged. This sets the stage for attachment theory later on. And there's lots of development of hope and confidence during this developmental window. And what do I mean by hope? I mean a positive but not arrogant attitude towards life. And in terms of confidence, what I mean is that you feel confident that your basic needs will be met. Alright, that is stage 1. Stage 2 is kind of the autonomy versus shame stage. Shame and doubt. This corresponds to the anal stage in Freudian, for the listeners at home. It's about ages 3 and 4, but it doesn't exactly line up, because hopefully we all know that there is range in development, like kids reach milestones at different times. Like, for me personally, I talked super early, but read super late. according to my mother, I was talking at 9 months. That's all I know. Versus reading was like, and writing was like kindergarten, like late kindergarten at all. And it was a nail biter whether I would actually do it, because, yeah. Same with speech. Oh, yeah. But I know you guys aren't here for this. Let's keep going. Maybe at the end I'll share some more like Mason baby anecdotes about how her development was the most lopsided ever. My mama worked in a developmental psychology lab throughout all of undergrad. Her undergrad, not my undergrad. So she like had some insight, so I believe her. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. Sorry, this is just what I do. So stage 2 is all about developing autonomy and balancing that with shame and doubt. This corresponds with the anal stage. It's all about figuring out who's in charge. Is it the adults or the child themselves? 'Tis a mystery. Not really. Mom's in charge. She always is. There's no winning. I was lucky enough to let's just keep going. Sorry. When weekends I'm more tangential. Alright, stage 3. So this is the initiative versus guilt stage, ages 4 to 7. This corresponds pretty closely to the phallic stage, and it's all about anticipating and fantasizing about life as an adult. This is where you start start getting asked and expected to know some flavor of answer of what you want to be when you grow up. Now this will change. I had one student who at this age wanted to be a grilled cheese sandwich, which was glorious, but she did not grow up to be a grilled cheese sandwich, and that's okay. So it's also about developing a sense of right or wrong at the beginning of adult morality. So you're starting to adult. You're hinting at it. Okay. So stage 4, industry versus inferiority. This is ages 8 to 12. According to my notes, it corresponds to the latency period. In this stage, you're developing skills and abilities to succeed in the world and to contribute to society. And you have to begin to control imagination and unfocus energy. Or that's what naturally happens. Cool. Sorry, the lack of ring light today is definitely going to be a challenge, because that is also with my jacket. Hopefully. If it's not, that'll be mystery for the ages. But anyway, that's stage 4. And as you notice, as we build up in stages, you start to kind of come to terms with your role in society. So let's back up a smidge here. Basic, like stage 1 is just like learning about your own needs. There's really very little about other people, maybe some like trust versus mistrust, but you're not really interacting. You're just learning if your needs are met, not like seeking them out. Autonomy is where you start to figure out that there are other people in society. Your like window of view of like perspective widens as you develop. So like you're starting out as just into you, and your world kind of grows. Ooh. That's kind of the Cliff Notes version. Alright. Yeah. Okay, stage 5. This corresponds with adolescence. You're like a mini adult. Like teenagerdom on. And this stage kind of is typified by identity versus identity confusion. For the Freudians who are curious which stage this corresponds, the genital stage. Woo! And it's all about figuring out who you are and what is important to you, as well as starting to choose consistent and meaningful goals and values. And useful too. Useful is good. But and kind of starting to look at where you fall. Like, when you ask who you are, it's who you are within society. It's not like who you are is just an individual. It's who you are amongst the rest of the people. Alright, so these not last stages. Stage 6 is adulthood. It's young adulthood. That's where most of you are now. Intimacy versus isolation. Some of the life goals include finding an intimate life partner. Okay, definition of young adulthood ranges here. Like, I almost said, oh, I'm in the next stage. No, I'm not middle-aged. I may be going a little gray, but I am not middle-aged. So stage 6 is, again, all about, like, developing and finding that partnership. Again, you don't have to follow this life script, but this is just an example. Stage 7 is generativity versus stagnation. You turn concerns to the next generation, or you become passive. So these are the boomers and Gen X, or they are right now. Stage 8 is integrity versus despair. So this is brought on, like, kind of looking back on what you did with your life. It's based on feelings about your own life. It's essentially brought on by the perspective of death. So you look back at your life, and if you acted and so you were in, I will not comment on current events because that would date this video. Okay, so next we've got, just wrapping up with psychosocial development. So there are major contributions of Erikson's theory here, from a psychoanalytic standpoint and moving forward. So it's the core idea is that psychological development is based on the structure of society and developmental tasks. It lays the foundation for lifespan development as a perspective. When I'm focused on kind of the substantive work, because I like long-range outcomes, it ends up taking a lifespan development perspective where psychological growth is ongoing throughout life. I'm more of a continuous gal, but the stage approach can also fit into this. Okay. Next time, we are going to talk about current psychoanalytic research, because it's still happening. I actually provided a couple of videos in the class course or Canvas page from current psychoanalysts. Sorry, my mouth is just not doing what I'm telling it to do. It's pretty good, but, like, not entirely. So yeah, that's where we're going next time. If you will not see me change jacket probably for the rest of this module. But it's possible. So, bye-bye.